frame. We walked it really close because what you want is a wall of light. So we created this huge wall of light. The obsessive DP. Are we good? We're good. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Obsessive DP. I'm Ryan. This is the show where we go over high-level industry standard production grade practices. I've been saying that really fast these days. Today we're going to talk about how to light and lens a 2-camera product video. This is a video where you're usually using a tripod? Of course you're using a tripod. A teleprompter, and your character, your company liaison, and the voice of your company is talking about your company, right? This happens a lot. It's very popular for PPC videos, for selling products, services, etc. It's just very straightforward. This is what this product is. This is what it does. This is why you should buy it. That type of thing. But there are some cinematic secrets that you can hone in to make those videos better. And we're going to talk about those today. All right, as far as this video is concerned, that's not it.
We had hundreds of people join the USCCA.
This was our set. Okay, so that wide was our set. This was a video for the USCCA selling this range bag here. And I just want you to look at the frame for a second. Look at all the corners, look at all the angles. So this is what we had to deal with. We had these windows that were facing the outside. We had to make sure the sun was never going to peek through, was never going to play on our scene at all. But we wanted them in frame because they looked nice, at least part of it. And then the corner of our room. Where did we place the corner of our room? Right where our product is, right? So that's kind of where your eyes go to. When you have a corner like that, and you just get this depth. You know, we were shooting at 1.5, T1.5, so we really had a very small focus plane, but it gave us this awesome depth to our scene. Obviously, this is more in focus, this is less in focus, and here it's really not in focus, so it really points your eye directly to this bag. Now, I wish the bag wasn't black. Darker colors your eyes don't usually pop to. I think if we had more time to do this, there should have been more of an edge, you know, a backlight over this bag, make it pop more in frame. That's what we would have done maybe with a Leica, either a Joe Leica or a Daylight HD Leica. Those would have been nice to really make this pop, but the framing helps it to pop because obviously we have our company liaison right in the center here, and then we have our product just off to the side, and we have our nice point of focus. Even though it's the least in focus thing in the frame, that's what really points your eye to this bag. And it's right on the third, right on the right third. On our left third is really nothing. Our character's in the middle. Let's go behind the scenes a little bit. This was our warehouse we were dealing with. We did have, you see these hot lights over here? I'm literally looking where the sun is right now because these hot points of light, let's say they were to hit something white, they were to travel over to our frame, we needed to know that. That could interrupt our filming. Let's say it reflected off of something over here and shone back at our scene. We may not necessarily have seen that because it happens so slowly as the sun moves. There would have been light pollution on our scene, which you don't want light pollution. You always want to be sure the light on your scene is what you've manicured and what you have done yourself, because if you're gonna deal with the sun, it's going to change, and you don't want to have to deal with a moving sun. Maybe if you're filming for like 20 minutes, the sun's probably gonna be pretty consistent. If you're filming throughout the day like we were for here, it's a different story. Unloading, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's talk about our frame. So this is our 6x. This is our key, right? So what we did was we didn't actually have a 6x frame, and you don't really need it if you're just keying off of it. Now, if it's a backdrop or something else, or if it's an outside where the wind can blow it, that's a different story. If you're just in a studio environment, you could totally use the top of a 6x frame and then hang your 6x half grid. We shot 2 DP Lumis into it. That's what gave us our nice light. And here is, you know, just more behind the scenes stuff. We got this as close as we could without being in frame. We walked it really close because what you want is a wall of light. So we created this huge wall of light right to the left side of our subject, of our character, which was camera right, and it gave him just a nice key side. I think I'm metering right there. Yeah, I am. And then on the other side, we had our backlight, okay? And that kind of just accentuated the windows. The windows were already playing as a backlight, as you can see in the final frame. but it helped just to have a little more pinpointed light, just to hit his nose. I like the 3/4 backlight. It just kind of bounces off the nose, gives you a little something interesting when you turn left or right, because when you turn, you get it on your nose, and then when you turn back, it kind of disappears. It's kind of a fun thing that I like to do. I've seen it on several interviews and movies and documentaries and everything, really. This was our final scene. So we have our camera here. This was the teleprompter. That's what we used. We have our backlight, which is hidden back here. We have our key light, and then we have our neg fill. We used a 4x floppy to just make sure that the right side of his face, made sure that nothing played on his face and that it stayed consistent and that it was down. Here's just a quick walkthrough of the frame. You can see the monitor, you can see me, and then you can see our scene. Oh, it's actually a great shot of the scene. Yeah, that's really obvious what's going on. Sick. Here's our frame. We kind of already ran through this, but I'm just gonna go real quick again. Our key, always start with the key. It's our first stroke on our canvas. Our key was 2 DP Lumis right on top of each other, shooting through a half grid. Got it as close as we could without being in frame so that we had a wall of light on our character. That was our key. Our fill is here. 2 4x4 floppies, making sure no light was playing on him and that he had a constant, even downside of his face. Edge was here. Just accentuating those windows. We actually didn't even have it at 100% because the windows were just so bright anyway. It was just a little kiss kind of hitting his nose. These are all our camera settings. Don't really need to go over them. Unless you guys are really interested, then you can look at them. Here's just more behind the scenes shots. There's a view from our character. I always like to view from our character because it shows you, so if you stand where your actor is going to stand, you can see everything that's playing on him right here. You can see that the key light's here, you can see that the down fill light's here, you can see possibly under this door there's going to be some light possibly going to play in your scene, but it's pretty far away. Let's say if he had glasses or something, that would probably pop in his glasses. You can always tell when I'm shooting daytime here because all these windows in this van show up in my glasses and it's super annoying and I hate it. I just need to block the windows, but it's a lot of work. So always be aware of that. You know, let's talk about ratios. So our ratios here were 1.4, so we used ND, which got us to be able to shoot at a T 1.5 on a 24mm lens, and we put ND9 in front of it, so that's 3 stops down, and then we metered at a 1.4 here, so 1.5, 1.4, and then 0.9 on his downside. So that's a difference of about a stop and a half, which is perfect for a shot like this, and then our backlight metered at 1.4. These were pretty much the same, which is fine. I mean, I feel like the edge light can kind of be whatever brightness you want because all it's doing is giving an edge like this. It's not really blowing out anything in your scene. It's just giving a nice edge. I mean, okay, if they're bald or had white hair, that would be different. But the edge I can usually play pretty hot. Key was pretty hot at 1.4 versus 0.9, and that worked out super well for the spot. The only thing I want to say, it's a very short thing that probably all of you know, but always use ND over shutter speed. Do not change your shutter speed or shutter angle. Your shutter angle should always be at 180 and your shutter speed should always be double your frame rate, which is usually 23.98, so it'd be 50. Use ND and not shutter speed. If you're changing your shutter speed, it doesn't look good. You don't look like a seasoned DP unless you did it for a reason, like an action sequence. That's really it. Hope you guys learned something. Please leave a comment down below. Ask us any question you have. Subscribe and stay obsessed.